Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Contest of Speed EU2. We're live from Suzuka, Japan, where it looks like it's nice and sunny, actually. For round 5 of Season 7 with EU2. Myself and Joel will be commentating this evening.
Good evening.
Hello, hello. And we have a full grid, I think for the first time this season, Joel.
Yeah, it is quite a surprise in EU2, getting most of a full grid. And only 2 reserves, I believe. So.
Yes, we'll do the housekeeping. That's Sozon Pat standing in for Wisey Boy in the Racing Point. And the other is Vapor Wizzy in the Mercedes standing in for Jonathan Cox. We've not got any sound on, but we will have now. And it's both Alpha Tauris first out. The two Toms, Tom Robbo and Thomas.
Yeah, Tom Robbo getting, I think, P2 last week, coming from the back of the grid on the hard tyres. Hoping to do a similar thing tonight, just eliminate the start.
And the qualifying, maybe. Was he on? Where was he last week after qualifying?
I can't remember, but he definitely had a turn 1, well, lap 1 incident, which put him near the back.
So he will indeed be hoping for a better start this week. Whilst we're waiting for these guys to go around, let's do the last little bit of housekeeping, and I think there is a qualifying ban. But I will tell you in just a second, once I've checked the website. I should know this beforehand, really, shouldn't I? If I was a professional, I would know.
Perez.
It is F1 Perez with a qualifying ban. He is out on track at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on him. Of course, those of you who are new to COS, not adhering to qualifying bans will result in disqualification from the race after the fact, so he needs to be careful.
We do have a full light cloud race as well.
Excellent.
So, no rain, which is rare for you two.
And that's it for housekeeping, I think, Joel. Unless I've missed anything out.
I don't think you have.
No. So we'll watch Tom Robbo then with the first timed run of the night. Very good through the S's. Curve. Sector 1, sets a time of 3:10. I'm going to make things really complicated in a minute, Joel.
Oh dear, never good for my
No. Tom Robbo then coming now towards the end of Sector 2, down towards 130R, that infamous corner. Not so difficult now, of course, after they reprofiled it, but still famous corner. Fernando Alonso, of course, going around the outside of Michael Schumacher there. Tom Robbo then crosses the line with a 125.7 as an opening gambit. Not bad.
Yeah, that's certainly not bad. No, only a 10th off the EU3 pole time from last night, and Milan with a 27.4, certainly not where he'll hope to be come the end of this qualifying session.
And I've just jumped on board with Perez just to see what he does at the end of this lap. Then we'll find ourselves someone just going to start, jump on board, and we'll run the lap of the Suzuka circuit.
Yeah, no, it looked like I looked at Perez at the start of his lap and he spun. Now, I don't know whether he's going to actually set a time here, but let's hope he doesn't.
We'll see what happens. He needs to bail off into the pit lane now to not risk a penalty. He's doing. I'll come back to him later in the session then. So, who we got? There's a Red Bull. That's coming across, 26.5 for him. No one within touching distance at the moment of Tom Robbo's time at this early stage. Snipes is up there with a 26.1. Ricky, 26.4 on the mediums. Very good lap from him at this stage.
Indeed.
Jamie goes in front of him, though, with a 26.2. And then we've got Matt on his out lap. I know he'll be listening, so we'll go with him. Shall we?
He's complaining to me the other day that we always pick him for his hot laps, putting on all the pressure, but pressure's on again, Matt.
Shall we stay with him, or shall we go to the Wizard? The Wizard's on his out lap as well.
Completely up to you.
Ooh, let's see, who's furthest ahead on... Oh, it's the Wizard, just. Ooh, he's got a reprieve as our Matt this week. And I know the Wizard's going to be... he's a fan of this circuit, so...
Yeah, he likes his classics.
He does. The F1 encyclopedia, that is Cos Wizard. So let's jump on board then through 130R on this outlap as we come around to start the next flyer. And go then. Telemetry, of course, in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Timing in the top right. Down the main start finish straight then. The one and only difference on this circuit. The only figure of 8 circuit on the F1 calendar. Turn 1 and 2 are actually a double right-hander. Now we go into the S section. Very difficult. You mess one up, you mess them all up. Seems to be going by the Wizard now into the Dunlop curve. If taken properly, it's flat out. Back end steps out a little bit, but he keeps it held in line. Now to the Degners. Good cut on the first and second. Could probably have dropped another gear there to give himself another boost, but keeps the traction. Now we head into the hairpin. Just called the hairpin. There's no other name for it, at least not that I can find. Now through 200R, Joel. 200R. So that's corner's called.
Wow.
I've wanted to know that for years. I only found it doing the research for this. Spoon curve. Another double apex corner. I've never got it right. Never. Down back
it's a tricky
then.
one.
Yeah. Over the bridge now as we head into 130R. And now fairly simple flat out left hand corner and into the final chicane, the Casio triangle. Negotiates that fairly well. Comes out of that final corner. Cuts it inside to set a 27.3. Not the best time for the Wizard, but it's a banker and it's on the board.
Yeah, I've just been informed that your mic is a little bit jumpy. I don't know if your update's started itself again, but yeah.
I will check. Give me a moment, you lovely, lovely people.
So no one managing to reach the heights of Tom Robbo yet. Still got the 4/10 gap to IFR Snipes.
It hasn't. I think that might just be the fact my mic's getting very old. I think it might be time to invest in a new one. So apologies if it decides not to play ball tonight. Who shall we see next? Who shall we annoy with our...
Snipes on an outlap.
Snipes on an outlap.
Oh, Perez is on a... Perez has set a time.
Perez has set a time. That will be
great.
a disqualification for Perez. Someone's not read the penalties for the last week. And he may be starting second, but regardless of where he finishes, he will now be disqualified. Let's go with Timmy. I want to watch Timmy. Underrated,
solid,
I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I think he got P3 last time out in Abu Dhabi. Stretching mediums, I believe it was. Way past their lifespan. And getting himself a very well-deserved podium.
He's wrangling that car through the S's there and through Dunlop. Throwing it in. And looks very comfortable.
Validated.
Yeah,
On
and
the inside of the Degner.
one of the few places it's easy to do that around here. And Timmy will Bring that Ferrari back to the pits then. And go again. See,
Completely
Ricky.
missed it, but Vapor Wizzy has set the exact same time as IFR Snipes.
He has, or rather Snipes has set the same time as Vapor Wizzy.
Well, I believe Snipes sets time first, even though Vapor Wizzy's somehow above Snipes, which I don't think it's supposed to work like that. But
no, I thought it was the other way around, but yeah, fair play. Ricky then coming around to start a lap in his Haas. I mean, me and Ricky had a great race here 2 seasons ago for what was then the driver's title and constructor's title of EU3. And me and Ricky were side by side around the final corner. You can probably tell by the fact I'm telling that story that I won. Not the race, just that battle.
Closing up to a racing point here, who is on a lap.
So's on Pat, yeah, and he doesn't have to get out of the way.
Yeah, of course. Maybe Ricky's timed this one a little bit poorly.
I think he has, but Pat goes wide though, and that releases the Haas of Ricky.
Yeah, will have knocked a little bit of time off, but not as bad as it could have been, that's for sure.
No, and he had a bit of a toe as well towards the Degner, so he might make up the time he would have lost.
Yeah, absolutely nailed spoon curve there.
See, I've
certainly
never,
the way you want to be taking it.
I've never been able to get spoon right. I either take too much curve in the back end steps, or I miss the apex on the second apex anyway. It just never goes right.
Yeah, the second part's extremely difficult to get the car turned in as Ricky boxes to abort that lap.
He's still in P7 on his medium time, so he's in a good position at the moment. Perez is going out again, not that that matters now. Yorno's on a lap as well. We mentioned him briefly. 600ths up at the moment. Clips the grass on the apex of 130R.
Yeah, we'll have scrubbed a little bit of speed off there.
I'll be honest with you, Cody, that is not the shot we wanted, and he's gone slower. He lost just over a tenth in that final sector.
Yeah, he lost the back end coming out of the Casio triangle, and not the best lap, but he's easily got time to get back to the pits and try again.
Arbar then now on his outlap. Coming down towards the Casio triangle to begin his second run.
Matrix has left the session.
So, solid first sector from Arbar at the moment. Let's just check the time when he gets there. 10th up at the moment, 31.0 for him. That actually puts him in Tom Robbo range. He's 3,000th slower than our current pole sitter through Sector 1. Although Sector 2 is where Tom Robbo really put the hammer down. 38.5 was his time through here. Arbar with spoon curve to negotiate.
Yeah, not quite hitting the apex on the second part, but he shouldn't have lost too much time there.
No, it's the adverse camber that always seems to get me on stock anyway. 38.8 for Arbar, so 3/10 down on Tom Robbo through that middle sector. 16.1 for the pole sitter in the final sector, and Arbar now across the line with a 25 and 9. Puts himself P2.
Yes.
Look, made up time on Tom Robbo there.
Was very, very clean.
Made up just shy of a tenth of a second there on our pole sitter in the final sector. And puts himself in a very strong position. We are now approaching the final runs of the session. Let's jump back to Ricky then. Determined to go for a run on the soft tyre. And judging by the time he's got at the moment with a 26.4, do you know the delta, Joel, between the softs and the mediums? Is it about 6-7 tenths?
I would guess so, yeah. I think there's quite a lot of corners and traction zones around here, so the softs will be quite beneficial. And I think the only really viable strategy in such a close field like this is probably soft medium. Starting on the mediums, you're just going to lose too much time at the start.
Okay, so here we go then with... Actually, no, Ricky's not going for it.
Yeah, maybe he thinks he can get a bit of a better time with track evolution and burning a little bit more fuel.
Maybe, or he's going to wait and see if he gets in the top 10 on his mediums.
Yeah, possibly.
I suppose if he can
Certainly
do it...
an unpredictable driver, Ricky, so
yeah,
we'll see what he does.
He often pulls out some strategical master stroke, but to wait and see if such a thing is possible for him this week. Stumpy out again then. We've not given the Alphas any airtime so far.
Let's see what his sector 1 time's going to be. A 31.3, so considerably slower than the guys at the front, but that's probably not where Stumpy's going to be aiming to be.
Yeah, 31.3 puts him on par with Matt at the moment. Ricky. Those guys with 31.2s. Then you've got Yorno, Emir and Lewis, 31.4s. Don Amo's a 31.3 in the middle sector, so quite a vast range there he could slot into. It'll all depend on the second half of the lap.
Yeah, he's going to pick up a nice little toe there from F1 Perez, accidental of course, but yeah.
39.1 puts him... that's going to put him around P10 if he has a good final sector.
Certainly looks to have had a good final sector.
Yeah, I think improved 2 tenths, but
I don't know what he did, but he seemed to... maybe he ran out of fuel, but he seemed to really slow down just before he hit the line. So
yeah,
wonder maybe if he was shooting for P11 and just missed, but...
And Tichy has crashed at the hairpin, which is something I didn't think I'd see. Let's have a look to see the stricken Alfa Romeo there in the middle of the road, blocking everybody. And I can think of a couple of drivers who will be furious with him for that.
Yeah, you can't park there, Tichy.
No. And Ricky, I think he's going to be one of them, but the Alfa has been cleared now. But Ricky again,
invalidated.
Yeah,
so he's not going to be able to improve, and he's going to be looking towards the likes of Yorno and Don Amo and Amir to try and push him down to P11.
Well, the thing is, for Ricky now, it's a win-win because as Timmy goes P7 and Snipes takes pole. But
a fast lap.
Tom Robbo is on a lap at the moment. And he's set a new fastest Sector 1, beating Snipes' time by over a tenth of a second.
Yeah, he's 2.5 tenths up.
This is going to be close.
Definitely going to be looking towards that number 1 spot.
You see then the Alpha Tauri over Sector 2. Gone purple again, beating his own time from earlier, but cuts the Casio triangle! And then loses it on the exit. That would have been, I mean, judging by where, and the amount of time he saved there, he would have been on for, that could potentially have been a 24.9 that time.
Yeah, if he'd have matched Snipes' last sector, he would have found another 10th, and he was already about, what, 3-4 tenths up? So
yeah, he would have taken pole there. Second place isn't bad though.
No, not at all.
And Ricky pulling off the miracle of P11 at the death there. And everybody else has finished. So then, Snipes takes pole in Suzuka, beating out Tom Robbo, who... Well, it now looks it's those two for the title, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
with Milan having Milan missing races through internet connection and having a rather poor qualifying performance tonight. F1 Perez qualifies in P3 but was supposed to be serving a qualifying ban, so will be disqualified from this race. Arba in P4, Jamie P5, Matrix P6, Timmy P7, Vapor Wizzy P8 after a very promising early run. I think that's the only run he did in the end. Or the only run he got in. Yorno P9 and Matt round off the top 10. Ricky, having set his time on mediums, starts P11. What he will choose to do with that, I'm not sure, because he tried to improve later on, but could not. Then we've got Milan in P12, Donamo P13, Wizard P14, Emir 15th, Thomas 16th, Lewis in 17th, Stumpy 18, Tichy 19, having crashed out, and Sozon Pat covering in the Racing Point in P20. So it seems while we're waiting for these guys to sort out their strategies, choose their tyres and get ready to go, it seems as good a time as any to talk about our partners at Contest of Speed. And I've been informed many times by Thomas that I keep forgetting to do this, so he sent me a very angry message earlier, which fair play to be honest, because he told me weeks ago, he said start doing this, and I just didn't. So at Contest of Speed we are proud to be partnered with F1 Armchair Experts. They're our Facebook group that conduct watch-alongs and general discussions about the world of Formula 1. If you're interested in that sort of thing, make sure you head over there and join the group and have a good old natter with some like-minded people. Okay then, I think we're just about ready to go. Let's have some predictions in the chat, everybody. And Joe, what do you think's going to happen? What's your podium going to look like?
I'm going to go for a Snipes, Tom Robber and Ricky. Play it safe.
You're going with Ricky?
Yeah, I think he's gonna... Ricky knows what he's doing. He'll have a plan, and I think he'll be able to execute that plan.
He's a wily old fox, isn't he?
Yeah, he is indeed.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with... Let's see. Obviously, with Perez being disqualified, whoever finishes behind him will be promoted a place. I'm gonna go with Snipes, Timmy, Yorno.
Bold. We've got Blaze in the chat going for Matty, Donham and Tichy. Certainly a impressive podium. Exciting race if that happens. But
nothing biased there from the Williams man putting the two Williams at the front.
Not at all. We've got Dapper Snipe saying Tom Robbo, Ricky and Timmy for his podium.
Interesting stuff. So let's have a look at everybody's tyre selection then. So, top 10 of course have to start on the tyres they qualified on. That in this case is everybody on the soft tyre. Outside the top 10, so places 11 to 20, they have free choice. They can do what they like. And we have Ricky, Milan, Donamo, Wizard and Emir on the medium tyres. Then Thomas on the softs. Lewis and Stumpy on the mediums. Tichy's going on the hard tyres, man after my own heart. And Sozon Pat there, rounding off the field on the mediums.
Yeah, I think the medium rules will be doing the medium soft, and at the end that will be hopefully throwing up some surprises and some good overtakes. Yeah,
the men I'm interested to see how they get on. Tichy for one, if he can avoid crashing, would be helpful. And I know that sounds harsh to anybody watching who doesn't know, but Tichy is our Alfa Romeo teammate and often gives us stick on a Monday night when things don't go our way. But he's had a habit this season of putting that Alpha in a wall, so
Yeah,
I think we're justified in giving him a bit back.
Yeah, obviously new on the wheel, and no, we should be going light on him, but we don't take any prisoners.
No.
So.
No. And then Snipes leading the grid round to form up to start this race. 27 laps of this historic circuit. Quite a big gap there. Yorno and Vapor Wizzy disqualified. They'll have hit each other. Okay, so we'll get the position change graphic ready. We wait for the final cars to form up. The two Alphas there putting quite a big gap between themselves and the rest of the pack. Because if this wasn't a game, then we would be having engine overheating issues and tyre and brake cooling issues. But thankfully, we only have to worry about the tyres. So get ready then to go racing in Suzuka. The lights go out. We know the drill. Let's wait for the revs. And we're away. It looks like a good start from Tom Robbo in second place. He's going to go down the inside of Snipes towards turn one. This could be Senna Prost-esque. Tom Robbo goes down the inside and takes the lead at turn one. Snipes has to settle for second. Perez into third. R and Matrix make it a Renault 4-5. Timmy's got ahead of Jamie down 2 places. Yorno's up to 8th. But at the front though, Tom Robbo holds off Snipes through the S's and now through the Dunlop curve.
Yeah, certainly after his performance in qualifying, Tom Robbo will have been hoping to get down the inside of that Snipes into turn one, and that's exactly what he's done.
Managed to make that move. Sticks. Matrix getting squirmy on the exit there. Timmy challenging now into a hairpin. Side by side, Timmy forced onto the grass, has to go wide. Leaves the door open for Jamie, but that wider line will probably give him the track. Have the toe from Matrix as well to hold off the Mercedes.
We've got a spinner. It's
Lewis. Lewis at the back of the pack. Jamie though down the inside of Timmy into Spoon, and he's made that moment. But Timmy now with the wider line, having the traction, never quite gave up the position. Down towards 130R.
And Soz and Pat and Thomas look like they're coming together at the back of the grid through Spoon.
Yeah, we've got big damage on Pat's car. He'll be stopping front wing. Yorno and Wizzy though fighting for position, as we see ahead of us. Timmy and Jamie again fighting. We've got damage up to Milan's car as well now, as he's battling with the Wizard.
Yeah, that's certainly going to compromise his strategy on those medium tyres. He'll probably have to box to the hards and see out this race on those tyres.
Big winners then off the opening lap. Not much movement. We've got the Wizard +2, Stumpy +2, and then the big loser is Thomas down 3. Milan now down 2, having lost out to Donamo, but with that wing damage you would expect that to be the case. The front though, Snipes staying in touch with Tom Robbo.
Milan's dropping like a fly.
Yeah, and he's going to struggle more and more as the stint goes on. Snipes keeping Tom Robbo honest at the front now. Perez there with them, not that it matters.
Yeah, but I will be looking to stick with this train.
We've got a yellow, that looks like a spinner.
Oh, it's Emir. He's having off at Spoon. Pretty similar to Pat and Thomas.
I think where he was, it looks as though he's gone off quite early in the corner. Wizard's got ahead of Donamo.
Yeah, I wonder if he maybe clipped the inside on the entry, and that sent him flying. As we've got more.
No, the Wizard!
Spinners.
The Wizard's gone!
The Wizard. Bit of a strange place to drop it, almost.
Yeah, did a bit
Maybe
of a Timo Glock there.
Or something.
He was battling with Donamo, and I think Milan was coming into the pits, so I wonder if there's been some sort of coming together between the three of them. No damage though on the Wizard's car. So he'll be able to carry on. I wonder if we might see him stop for hard tyres and just drive through to the end.
The Lance spun coming out of the pit, well, not coming out of the pits, going through turns 1 and 2. And that's not what they wanted.
No,
to mediums, which is bold if he thinks he can go to the end on those, certainly.
I think he'll be playing for a safety car, if I'm honest, and just trying to close that gap back up. Let's see then, Snipes now has lost out to Perez somewhere. We missed that one, and challenging him now back into the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, Perez has gone from 90% ERS to 60. So I wonder if maybe Perez just absolutely hammered his ERS and got past Snipes, which is what Snipes is looking to do here, maybe for a move on Perez into turn 1.
Perez parks it in the middle there. Snipes is waiting for him to make a decision on the defence when he'd actually already made it to stay central.
Yeah, this is certainly not what Snipes would have wanted. I mean, Perez in the way of him and his championship rival, but hopefully he can...
Yeah, as long as Tom Robbo doesn't get too far ahead though, Snipes can he can sit there and be relatively comfortable, knowing that one mistake from the man ahead of him will put him back in the driving seat.
Yeah, I certainly think Snipes would rather be...
Oh, contact between the two, and this could be an opportunity for Arbar. Sorry, Joel, I just saw him make contact. Arbar choosing to stay behind the Ferrari for now. Snipes pushing Perez through that corner, and what he's doing by that is just allowing Tom Robbo to pull ahead. Arbar struggling in the dirty air.
Yeah, Tom Robbo now burning the ERS all the way down the straight, looking to break that DRS, which is just about done.
Yeah, DRS detection, so of course, at the entrance to the triangle. And Lewis, the first man.
What Tom Robbo will have wanted.
Lewis, the first man on the naughty step with the 3-second time penalty. And I think we could see a move here from Snipes on Perez. Perez stays on the outside of the corner, which is where you want to be to defend it properly. Hold your line around the outside. Makes it much harder for the man overtaking.
They both burn everything they had going down the DRS straight there. That's certainly not going to put them in the best position for the rest of the race after this battle concludes. DRS very hard to regain around here.
Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out though, Joel, from P1 to P11 we are in a DRS train at the moment.
Yeah, for the start of the race yesterday I think we saw that as well. It's pretty difficult to get out the DRS here. Obviously you don't want to be burning too much ERS because it's impossible to retain.
Yeah, so much time spent at full throttle here that you just can't make that energy back. Ricky then in the prime position, you have to say, when these guys all come into the pits, but can all change certainly in an instant. I think Snipes has decided to hold off his charge for the moment. But then again, Perez, right on the back of Tom Robbo, we could have a change of leader here.
Yeah, Tom Robbo's certainly got the ERS to defend, and he's using that ERS. And I don't know, but Perez won't be able to make the move into turn 1, and with 20% battery, I think he might struggle to make the move anywhere else as well. Yeah,
he's very tentative through the S's, whether that's because of the dirty air from the car in front or he's running a car with excellent straight line speed. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, the dirty air, especially on a heavy fuel load, is not very nice through the S's, that's for sure.
Let's have a look if there's another battle anywhere on track. We've got Tichy and the Wizard following close on from one another. The brothers Riley. Tichy, of course, he's looking to complete a race this season.
Yeah, that would be useful at some point.
We need the points, Titch. You know you're not going to get any today, but at some point they'll be nice. And we may have a break in the train, and that's Matrix behind his teammate Arbar. He's just starting to close that gap back up now down the back straight, but it's getting close. The other one is Matt behind Yorno.
Yeah, I think the DRS on the entry to the Casio Triangle is sort of what keeps everyone in the DRS, because if there's a bit of clean air between one car and another, you can brake that bit later into the Casio Triangle, which ends up giving you that DRS.
Yeah, Matt is now outside that window. He'll be looking to get back in it this time around, otherwise Ricky will be all over him. Former teammates, of course, these two, at Haas in Season 2, a very long time ago now.
Let's have a look at the warning situation, because that could play a fairly big part. F1 Perez, obviously it doesn't really matter as he'll be getting disqualified at the end of the race, but he's on 2 warnings, so he needs to be careful he doesn't get that 3rd one. And Snipes and Tom Robbo matched each other on just the 1.
Yeah, so
I think it's one of those tracks where it's fairly easy not to get time penalties. You sort of know where the white lines are and know your limit, but obviously if
you're pushing, battling with somebody, or just have a momentary lapse of concentration, it will bite you.
And Perez is all over the back of Tom Robbo going into the Casio Triangle. He's going to send it down the inside. Little lock up.
He's taken it.
He's made the move.
And he's got DRS as well to defend with. Tom Robbo doesn't.
Yeah, he's still going to burn the overtake for good measure, but it's not going to...
Snipes going around the outside of Tom Robbo now. Who's going to come out in front? It's Tom Robbo in the Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, Snipes seems to only be able to get a good run into turn 1, and he's struggling to make the moves into turn 1.
I think he's cautious as well, isn't he? In the past he's been caught out by going for things that are just that little bit too much. And I think he's cautious of the fact that he doesn't want to get caught out with needless wing damage again. However, Joel, I think the reason that Tom Robbo's dropping back is those front tyres on his car are not looking healthy. You can see there.
Yeah, they're not at all.
Yeah, 60%.
I don't know what he's done to them, but
you'll be able to see, everybody, on your screens, that tyre on the right-hand side. When we come around here and the sunlight shines on it, you can see the line across the tyre there on the outside of it. Do you see? That's the wear line. That is denoted by the toe angle and the camera angle of the tyre. But the more defined that line is, the less tread there is on the tyre. That's the basic rule of thumb. The fact we can see it so clearly is not a good thing.
He'll be looking to get to the end of lap 10 on these tyres if he's going to make the medium tyre work to the end.
Snipes, Matrix and Wizzy are all into the pits.
I wonder what they're going to the mediums. Snipes is going for quite a bold undercut. Should be alright to the end, but the tyres certainly won't feel the nicest.
Wizzy's gone to the hard tyre, so he's going to try and hold his pace in that mid-pack and maybe capitalise on the likes of Snipes and Matrix when their tyres wear out towards the end of the race. Let's keep an eye, though, on the gap at the front.
Pull off quite a good race in Abu Dhabi on those hard tyres, so he must have faith in them.
Yeah, and we're now starting to see gaps appearing in that original train. Tom Robbo appears to have been a cork in the bottle, albeit at the front of that train. Front tyre screaming. He's done nearly 10% in a lap and a half.
Yeah, I think if I'm Tom Robbo, I'm going to box this lap. It's not worth staying out that extra lap.
Well, the thing is, you say that
a lot of ERS.
You say that though, Joel, but if he's doing that to his tyres now, the undercutting's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless he stops for the hards, he's going to have to. He's coming in. I suppose he had to come in to try and cover off Snipes, but
I think he's got to go for the medium tyre here.
and he is doing.
No, he's going for the
hard.
hard.
No, he's going for the hard tyre.
Yeah, I think maybe that was a last-minute strategy change, but if he was going to go for the hard tyre, I think he probably would have benefited coming in a couple laps earlier. But playing the long game, this could have certainly handed the Snipes if he's not careful.
And there we go, we see Snipes.
Got the undercut.
Yeah, we see Snipes get ahead of his rival. However, Tom Robbo has the opportunity to play the long game here. And we've got a yellow flag for what I think is Jamie spinning at turn 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly going to compromise the strategy. That's 2 people we've seen spinning at turn 1 after just coming out of the pits.
Cold tyres, of course, not going to be very nice to try and put a lot of load into. Slight wing damage as well for Jamie, so maybe clipped another car on his way round. Perez and Matty then, and the only guys who've not stopped on the soft tyre yet. Perez, I think, going a lot longer than he needs to here.
Yeah, you could say that, but yeah, his tyres are only on 65%, and he's going to go again. And he's
I think he's going to be his.
DRS.
That is his mistake, I think, going that early. Matt does come in now. I think that'll have been Donamo. Oh no, Donamo didn't have first choice of strategy. He's on a different strategy to Matt, so Matt genuinely want to take those tyres 10 laps. He will go to the mediums now.
I think the aim around here is certainly to get those tyres to the end of lap 10 if you're on the soft. So
and Snipes, though, if we just saw that, got himself ahead of him here. So now there's a car between him and Tom Robbo. The hard tyres on the AlphaTauri, of course, will take a couple of laps to get up to temperature, then get through that first layer of rubber that is normally like your qualifying layer, that one that gives you a lot of grip but then falls away. He's then got to work through the second layer of that, get him into that second window, that's heat cycle going, and then he'll start to come back.
Yeah, they're certainly not the fastest tyre, but they do feel very nice once you've got them worn in.
Probably be around lap 15 before we see Tom Robbo's real pace on those tyres, so Snipes now needs to put the hammer down, get himself clear, because Tom Robbo will be coming past Emir this time around unless he makes a mistake.
Yeah, you would think so, but we know from the past that Emir likes to fight every position, so certainly won't make it easy for Tom Robbo.
No, certainly won't, and of course he's entitled to fight. This is 4th position. And Perez is now in. So yeah, Ricky leads the race.
Certainly gone 1 lap too long. So he puts on the medium tyres. And
you've got to think about it. I think he may have gone 2 or 3 too long there, because Snipes is going to come through. And as we see there, Tom Robbo comes through, goes past him here.
And Arbar goes through as well.
Yep, Arbar goes through. And he's going to be under massive pressure from Matrix this time round as well while he gets those tyres up to temperature. Oh, there's contact between the two! Matrix with wing damage and Perez off the circuit. He's managed to bring it back now, and he's now closing back in on the Renault, but
yeah, Matrix has got big wing damage, 50%. So
yeah, Renault will have to come in again, but at the moment he's acting as a bit of a barrier for his teammate. As Perez dives down the inside at the hairpin, not much Matrix can do to defend that position.
Yeah, that was certainly unfortunate wing damage for Matrix. It didn't look like he tapped him too hard.
I was going to say, it looked like he tapped him, then moved away, and then the damage happened, so... And Wizzy now looking to make a move on the Renault.
Yeah, Wizzy used all his ERS there, and he's not going to be able to get the move done.
But you see, if I'm Wizzy, I wouldn't be going for that move. Not there anyway, because you're going to get DRS. I mean, Yorna's capitalised. But now, let's jump across to Wizzy, because Oh, he's not burnt. See, this is the thing, I wouldn't have burnt there. We've got... Is that Tichy round? It is. Yes. Tichy round at the final corner. He's done a Timo Glock. From all those years ago. Those of you who remember when it wasn't quite so nicely cambered, that corner. And we've got a VSC on circuit. Thomas.
Yeah, and there's 5-second time penalties being dished out all around. I think Yorno and Wizzy collided, giving them both 5 seconds. As Wizzy's, got 44% wing damage, so he'll have hit the back of Yorno quite hard. That's certainly going to compromise his strategy.
Tichy's got wing damage as well, I think. And it's... Yeah, he's got no wing at all, hasn't Tichy? That's... that would count as damage. And he's going to have a very long lap to get back round to the pit lane from here.
Certainly is.
Stumpy though, battling with Lewis round 130. Lewis with the absolute tank slapper there on the curb. And Stumpy takes P3.
Yeah, Stumpy doing a pretty solid job in the Alfa Romeo. As Lewis is going to come back at him here into turn 1. He's going to go to the inside. And he's going to get that move.
Oh, there was something flew off there. I'm not sure. Yeah, Stumpy wing damage from 25.
That. Not the best of laps for the Alfa Romeo team, that's for sure. Certainly a lot of...
Wizzy has retired in the pits.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 5-second time penalty. Plus he would have had to box, but probably wasn't raced over. I mean, maybe he wouldn't have scored points, but...
Thomas
in the pits as well.
Done the same. Starting to lose drivers now. No one's retired on track yet. Of course, still everything to play for. A safety car at this stage could give us some late drama.
Certainly could. As Tichy's going to come into the pits to finally fix his wing.
Yeah, do you reckon mediums to the end from him?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. Unless he thinks he can somehow make the softs work. Yeah, mediums it is.
We've got
the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, and Snipes. Snipes has made a mistake. He's dropping down the order.
Oh yeah,
that's 130R.
Really
130R, he's dropped it. No wing damage there, so...
No, he's got 12%, but sort of almost like he dropped it in the middle of a straight.
I know he has got wing damage, 12% there.
Top cleared 130R, and he was a bit of a weird place to end up.
I wonder if he's taken too much curb on the entry. Or maybe been challenging someone. He might have been challenging someone through there and it's gone wrong for him.
Yeah, but...
Because I've got first-hand experience of that from last season.
I think he might have come together with Perez, because wasn't Perez in front of Tom Robert?
No, he leapfrogged in the pit stops. And then had his contact with Matrix. So... there as you were. But Tom Robbo now, you have to say... The exception of...
Arbar.
Arbar's the one that's got in front, so maybe...
Arbar's net P1 at the moment, and he certainly wouldn't have been expecting that a few laps ago.
No, gap to the leader for Arbar is 14 seconds. Pit stop round here is around 22 to be able to get in and out and stay in front. Time spent in the pit lane itself is around 18 seconds.
And with the medium runners probably going to be looking to box either end of this lap or end of next. You know, Ricky's only going to have, what? I can't do the maths, but
he's going to have
certainly not have too much time to make up on the soft tyres.
It depends, because if he has a poor in lap, he's going to come out behind Snipes. And that could be a real problem. If he can have a good in lap, he'll come out in P9 ahead of Matt. No, P8 rather, ahead of Matt. if he has a bad one, he'll come out P10 behind Snipes. And if that happens, then his strategy is probably in the dirt.
Yeah, he's certainly got battery to burn on his in lap, so that should help him.
Jump across then to our current race leader. Pit window not open yet, at least not that we can tell. Had no message from AWS, and we've got nothing on Ricky's telemetry to suggest he's going to be coming in. Could all change though. If so, let's see. Does he box this time round? Got 5.5 seconds clear of the man behind him, which is Donamo. No, he's going to carry on.
Stays out.
So gap behind him then. At the moment, it's holding stable between him and Snipes. Snipes got that little bit of wing damage, which could cause a problem for him trying to close up. Matt is just inside that window, so he may actually come out between 9th and 10th.
Yeah, that's maybe not where you want to come out with 2 cars sandwiching you, but I'm sure Ricky will make it work.
At the moment, he's got Timmy to thank for what he's doing and for where the time's being held, because he's holding up Matt and Snipes right now.
Yeah, Stumpy gets the fastest lap of the 29.1.
Good man. Wizard just got overtaken by Jamie there for P11. And when Ricky comes across the line this time around, if he is still leading at that point, we will have 10 laps to go. It's not been a bad race so far, actually.
No, not at all. As it looks like from the telemetry, Donamo and Lewis will be boxing this lap, but there's nothing to suggest Ricky's boxing this lap. So
yeah,
we'll have to see what the Haas driver does. I certainly think I'd box this lap if I was in Ricky's position.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. He comes past now, and he's in. Okay, so it's going to be very close with him and Snipes, I think, assuming we've got the timings right. So let's jump across to Ricky then. Into the box he goes. Soft tyres onto the Haas.
Oh, and Lewis gets 5 seconds. That's not going to help.
And Tom Robbo then challenging Arba for the lead. And I think he's got it. Just watching Ricky. Here comes Timmy and Matt through. Where's Snipes? He's behind us. Ricky gets out ahead of Snipes. It's around that 22-second mark he fell into. Matt got ahead of Timmy as well there, which is going to be crucial for his race.
Certainly is, and now Ricky's got a job in his hands if he wants to clear Timmy, and then Matt, and then Yona.
And then,
for sure.
Yeah, he's got, we said, 10 laps to try and get as high up the field as possible. The 2 drivers behind him both carrying wing damage, so I would not expect a challenge from them at this late stage.
No, certainly not. So Tom Robbo now in the lead of the race for the 5-10 gap.
Here goes Ricky though, round the outside of 200R, down to the inside of Spoon. Timmy left that door wide open, and Ricky just walked right through. Up to P6 now for the Haas. It's looking bright already.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he'll be hoping Yona can do him a little favour and break that DRS to Vati to make Ricky's job all that easier. But he might not even need that.
Arba, Tom Robbo and Perez, the leading trio. It makes you think though, where would Matrix be in all of this? If he hadn't had that contact, he'd be in this group now.
He certainly would, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be there in between Yorno and Perez, if not ahead of Perez. And would be there to help his teammate out. It's been a season.
Matt, Robbo and Yorno. Matt just got squeezed onto the grass a little bit there by the Red Bull driver.
And that's going to allow Ricky to try and attack. But Matt manages to hold his ground.
Yeah, Matt's showing some really good pace here. Could be in the fight for a podium if...
Yeah, but Ricky's going to try it round the outside now towards the hairpin. Oh, Matt goes deep. Yorno's round.
And Ricky's got wing damage, I believe. Oh, no, he hasn't. That's Matt.
No, it's Matt with wing damage. Yeah, excuse me for coughing, everybody. I've been interviewing students all day as part of my job, so I've got a little bit of a hoarse voice at the moment. I can feel it going. And then I'm getting excited over these races.
Put the commentator's curse on. Matty, I can only apologise.
You have. He will not be a happy bunny later. And that will be Matt boxing, I believe, for a new front wing and some soft tyres. No, he's going to keep going. He's going to try it. Fair play. Jumping back up to Ricky then. 5.6 seconds to make up in the next 7 laps.
Yeah, that's certainly...
That's doable.
Where he'll have wanted to be. Yeah, it's definitely doable.
Penalty situation then. Let's jump across timing screens. Everybody from Tom Robbo to Timmy has 2 warnings at the moment. So one mistake could throw this whole podium scenario into jeopardy.
Certainly could.
Oh, the 2 Ferraris swapping places there.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was tactical or just a move by Snipes, but maybe Timmy believes Snipes has the better pace. And
well, there's a 2.5 second gap to Ricky, so I think that might have been tactical because Yorno now is all over the back of them.
Yeah.
And Ricky's made up a second already. He's absolutely flying.
Yeah, he is. And Perez has managed to regain a lot of battery. He must have literally used none.
So he's been sitting in the DRS window of those 2 ahead of him, getting a double top. So, in fact, he might be looking to go for a move here. It's a real shame. It's a very solid race, but it's all going to count for naught at the end of it.
Yeah, and he could very well be in the lead of this race if he hadn't have been knocked off the track by Matrix.
He could be, yeah. He would have still had to get past these 2. It would have been interesting to see him fight through the field if he'd started at the back where he was supposed to.
Certainly would.
But if nothing else, he's put on a decent show. Don Armo closing in on his teammate. I think we'll see a tactical switch there very soon. Don Armo, of course, on the soft
Timmy's going
tyre.
to go for the move on R-bar into Spoon, and he's gone. Nearly. Half spin there for Timmy, and he's lost a lot of time. Not Timmy, Perez. Sorry, my bad.
We've got a virtual safety car because Milan has crashed at the S's. I know exactly what's happened there. If we can quickly jump on board with Pat and have a look. So Perez lost it at this corner coming up on the left hand side. I bet he's tried to go flat through here where we are now, lost the back end and gone straight into the wall.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunate for Milan. Another unfortunate race for him. One of the title challenges. There goes my keyboard. One of the title challenges we thought at the start of the season, but unfortunately nothing doing now. Matt has taken the opportunity of the VSC to stop.
Yeah.
As has Matrix.
Yeah, was Matrix still carrying that one? No, he can't have been. It was over 50%. Oh, Perez has got a drive-through penalty. Speeding under the VSC.
Wow, that takes him out of the... and he's retired from the race at the Degnes. Now...
His rear wheels popped off. So he's not... Oh. I'm going to pass judgment for now.
I'm just going to see where he is with him here. He should be on the left-hand side there. That is a very unusual place to find a car.
Yeah.
And after picking up a drive-through penalty, I would not be shocked if that wasn't slightly intentional. Of course, innocent until proven guilty. So we'll investigate that one. I just had a notification through on my phone, Joel, about you tweeting a photo.
Ah, yes. Getting into the old Twitter. Lovely website, sometimes.
I like
handed Ricky.
It has. It's handed Ricky the podium. 3.3 seconds. His charge has been slowed by that VSC and by the wear that those soft tyres will now be experiencing.
Certainly. If I'm looking at these last laps, I know there was a VSC and drivers probably will have been a little bit more cautious than others, but Ricky was nearly 2 seconds faster than Tom Robbo and Arbar that last lap. So he's absolutely flying, and I wouldn't be surprised, really, if we see him in the lead of this race at some point in the near future.
I've got a bit of a train behind Snipes at the moment, with Timmy close to him, and then Yono behind him. I say a train, it's a 3-car train. And the rest of the pack quite spread out at the moment, actually. Arbar not quite close enough to Tom Robbo, although that could change on the run down to 130R.
Jarno's very, very close to Timmy, and I think he gets a bad exit from Spoon, and it's going to compromise his run into 130R.
Well, he's got the toe though. He's going to have a double toe, and he's going to have DRS, so he needs to focus on his exit from the triangle.
Yeah, and Timmy might have to sacrifice Snipes here, who gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to drop all the way down to P6 as things stand. And Timmy's going to...
Well, you say that, you're on a penalty as well, so he might...
Oh, wait, yeah. I think Jarno's penalty was from a collision, which I saw Vapor Wizzy say in the chat was his fault, so I think Jarno will be looking to get that removed.
Maybe. So Snipes needs to try and pull a gap. Oh, Jarno makes a mistake, clips the curb, and the back end steps out. Breaks his DRS window. That could be the miracle that Snipes needs to hold on to those positions with his teammate. I know we've got the boring stage quite late on here. Nothing really happening at the moment. Two Ferraris there,
pretty spread out.
Yeah, two Ferraris chilling together. Jarno back in DRS range already though, so Snipes really starting to hold up his teammate.
Yeah, I think now with Snipes having that 3-second time penalty, if you're Timmy, you're maybe wondering about trying to make a pass and see what you can do.
And in fairness to Timmy though, P4 is almost nailed on here as long as he doesn't make a mistake.
Certainly is, yeah.
As long as he stays ahead of Jarno, potentially with that penalty getting removed. So maybe sitting where he is with the DRS there, and he can use his overtake to hold off the Red Bull, might be the best way for them to both get a better result from this than they would if they let Timmy go.
Yeah, certainly we've both seen what happens when drivers get over ambitious and try and push too hard, so maybe he'll just be happy with where he is and take that P4.
Maybe. So let's jump back up to the leaders then. Arbar currently with very little ERS. He's pushing hard to try and catch up to the Alpha Tauri. Tom Robbo with much more to try and defend with.
Yeah, and I think Arbar will be looking to try and keep Ricky out the DRS as long as he can. Ricky used a lot of his overtakes, so struggling. Well, I say he might be struggling to get past Arbar, but Arbar's pretty much on the same amount of...
Yeah, I think Ricky's going to have one run at this, I think, unless he goes for one of his special overtakes that we've seen a couple of tonight already. He's going to have this DRS straight coming to close in as Jarno gets ahead of Timmy. Because Timmy made a mistake at the exit of Spoon Curve, and that has allowed Jamie back in with a shout. So it could all be coming apart for Ferrari there. We're going to stay with this.
Jamie with that 3-second time penalty isn't going to be able to get past and then pull that gap to Timmy.
We're going to stay here with the battle for the leaders. Arbar's made a mistake. He's now dropped well behind Tom Robbo. And Ricky right up behind the Renault. Ricky will have one DRS straight to try and make that move, unless he wants to go for something in the middle. P2 beckons the Welshman forward.
Ricky's tyres are in the 45s now, so they're not going to be feeling the nicest, but our bars are in the 65s on the mediums, so I think Ricky will be able to get past our bar here, but
should be able to. Whether he'll be able to do it in one attempt though, I'm not so sure. Tom Robbo now putting a little bit more power down, stretching out his lead. 2.4 seconds the gap now.
Yeah, Tom Robbo's on 50% ERS, and don't think Ricky's going to be able to get past Sharbar and then catch him and then overtake him.
No, I don't think so either.
Alpha Tauri driver.
Right now though, Snipes is going to keep P5. He's not close enough to Timmy to warrant losing that place, so beneficial for Snipes at the moment, as we see Ricky close up to the back of Arbar's Renault. This goes for a wider entry to Casio, as Arbar goes deep on the first part, and this is going to allow Ricky a really good run at the Renault man. It's Wales versus Canada. Down the straight, Ricky goes to the outside, Arbar holds the inside line, and it's the Haas sweeping round. Arbar defends heavily. Is he going to make it through? Still side by side. Fair racing, and Ricky's taking it. Ricky's taking it in the S's. Brilliant driving from the pair of them.
Wow.
Tom Robbo picks up 3 seconds. This could be a classic moment in COS history. Ricky just needs to push now. He knows, he can see it. Victory beckons him closer. He's in the window. Me and Ricky have had a rivalry for a very long time, but I've never said this before, but come on, Ricky. Bring that home. Make this a spectacular finish. Half a second in it now.
As well. This could be massive in the championship.
Yeah, it could. Tom Robbo with those 3 seconds, possibly throwing away victory here. There's Ricky now, 3/10 in it. He's burnt everything. He's got nothing left. He's got absolutely nothing left. 1/10 in it. This is going to come down to the thousandths. Tom Robbo through the final corner. He's broken it, but can Ricky pull it back? Can he do it? Yes, he can! 18 thousandths of a second! Ricky takes the win! Tom Robbo drops to second place. Arbar in third. Snipes will hold P4 for now from Yorno, who drops behind Timmy. Jamie in P6, who drops to P8 once Lewis finishes. Emir jumps them both to 7th, pushing Jamie now down to 11th. He's got so many penalties. As Donamo jumps up to P7. Stumpy P10, Joel.
Wow.
My voice is proper going. Oh, we lost a great man this week who had to stop talking after a race around this circuit. That was because he had a lump in his throat. I'm losing. Well, I'm going to have to stop because my voice is going completely. And I think Murray would have been proud of that one, Joel.
He certainly would. What a race. We had a bit of a lull in the lap 24, lap 23, but it certainly picked up towards the end. That's for sure. Absolutely.
And Ricky, the flying Welsh dragon, stands atop the podium in what I can describe as one of the most fantastic drives I've seen in Contest of Speed. That's up there with Matrix at Kota in season 3 or 4, I want to say 3. Tom Robbo then in second, and Arbar to round off the podium. Snipes missing out after that contact earlier in the race. Timmy in 5th. Yorno P6, but potentially jumping up to 4th, depending on his penalties. Donamo 7th, Emir 8th, Racer 9th, and Stumpy in P10. Fastest lap was Milan in P18, so no bonuses there. DNFs, we had 5 of them as Sonzo Pat, F1 Perez, Ivan Milan, Thomas, and Vapor Wizzy.
Yes. Shall I get the podium in the party?
I think you may have to do the interview, Joel, because I am in quite a lot of pain at the moment. If you don't mind, that would be most appreciated.
I can do.
Thank you. It's worth it for that finish, but...
Tom Robbo will join us, or he left the session quite quickly at the end of the race, but...
Understandably so, but definitely get Ricky in, and Arbar as well.
And... Arbar.
I'll let you do that. Do your thing, Joel. I will be 1 second.
Good evening, Mr. Ricky.
Yo.
We'll just... Yeah, take your time. Wait and see if any of the others care to join us.
Oh man, I need to stretch after that. That was a second.
I'm not surprised. Ah, well. Are you ready to conduct an interview?
Go for it.
Yeah, so while we wait for the others, see if they'll join us, what was going through your head at the start of the race? That's what I want to know. Did you ever think there was a possibility you could win it?
Yes. I qualified last season on the mediums, and I was confident the medium to soft could work. I was just keeping close to Matty, not really pushing, but keeping close enough that I get DRS. And then I just pushed like hell for the couple of laps when they pit. And yeah, I was judging Tom Robbo's gap. He was stuck behind Arbar, so
Yeah.
I knew the longer I went, the better my softs would be at the end, because they do drop off quite quickly. And then I decided to box and just push like hell. I actually changed my front wing from 4 to 3. Just because I needed to make moves. It was making me hurt in sector 1, but I had the grip. So I compromised the corner speed to straight line speed, and I have to say, what a battle me and Arba had second to last lap.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on stream, but
It was
insane.
So
Like,
I'm back, Ricky. I've made myself hoarse because of you.
Literally, I was sending it. Like, I just trusted him, and after last week, I was a little bit like, I don't know, because we had a little bit of contact last week, and I was just like, I've got to go for it. I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it was an incredible drive, that's for sure. What was going through your head when you saw Tom Robbo get that 3 seconds on the final lap?
I thought my tyres were gone, to be honest. I couldn't seem to get the power down coming out of the corners. It was only in the straights, and I think I've only just about won it, to be fair. Even if Tom Robbo gets a warning removed, I don't care. I'm happy with P2. P2 from P11 is like a win around here.
Yeah, that's certainly not bad at all. I think it was 1800s, the gap between you and Tom Robbo when you crossed the line. So.
Yeah, 18,000s at the end.
Yeah, 18,000s, yeah.
But yeah, it was the first stint was what made it possible. Just being patient and not, because I knew people were, on the quicker tyre. They were basically doing medium times because of the traffic. So it was just a case of waiting for my opportunity.
Yeah, it was a stellar drive. Well done.
Cheers, Joel. Cheers, man.
And I don't think we're going to have the company of the others, it seems. So that's it wrapped up.
Right. Right, I'll try and do the outro without spluttering everywhere. I shouted myself hoarse, Ricky, at the last lap for you.
Oh man,
It was worldy.
Oh my god, I need a sleep. I need a sleep or something.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. That was brilliant to watch. Okay, everybody, we're going to round off the stream for tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch. If you're watching this again later on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and share the video as well, and spread the word about this man's fantastic performance. If you want to support Cos, you can do so. Make sure you follow us on all social medias to keep up to date with us, and head over to our merch store and see if there's anything that takes your fancy. We will see you next week in Bahrain for round 6. You can tune in approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes time for AM2, where you can see some more guys go hammer and tongs around this great track. We'll see you again next week. Good night.